Hey, how y'all doing today? We got Genesis 29. You know the vibes. We going back to Mr. Jacob. We probably gonna see how he gets his wife or something. Let's get into it. And Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field. And lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by. For out of that well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was well upon the well's mouth. And thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in his place. And Jacob said unto them, My brethren, whence be ye? And they said, Of Haran we are. And he said unto them, Know ye Laban, the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And he said unto them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter comes with the sheep. And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither it is time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, We cannot until the flocks be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep. And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass, when Jacob saw Rachel the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother. And Jacob kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob and his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him into this house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely thou art my bone and flesh. And he abode with him in the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, Because thou art my brother, shouldest thou serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? And Laban had 2 daughters, and the name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. And Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel, and he said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel thy younger daughter. And Laban said, It is better that I give her to thee, than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him, but for a few days, for the love he had to her. And Jacob said unto Laban, Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the palace, and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening, that he took Leah his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Laban gave his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for a handmaid. And it came to pass, and in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, What is this thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, It must not be done so in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou so served me yet another 7 years. And Jacob did so. He fulfilled her week, and gave him Rachel his daughter to wife also. And Laban gave Rachel his daughter, and Bilhah his handmaid, to be her maid. And he went in unto Rachel also. He loved her, Rachel, more than Leah, and served with him another 7 years. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, and Rachel was barren. And Leah conceived and bore her a son, and she called his son Reuben. For she said, Surely the Lord hath looked upon my affliction, now therefore my husband will love me. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and said, Because the Lord has heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon. And she conceived again, and bare a son. And now this time my husband will be joined unto me, because I have bore him 3 sons. Therefore his name was called Levi. And she consumed again, and bare a son. And she said, Now I'll praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah, and left bearing. What a fantastic character arc we have for our boy Jacob. Chapter 30. When Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister, and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel. And he said, Am I in God's stead? Who hath withheld from thee the fruit of thy womb? And she said, Behold, my maid Bilhah goeth unto her, she may bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife. And Jacob went in unto her. And Bilhah conceived, and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, God hath judged me, and hath heard my voice, and hath given me a son. Therefore she called his name Dan. And Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, With great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. So Bilhah, Rachel's maid. Okay. Yeah, alright. So when Leah saw that she had left bearing, she took Zilpah her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife too. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son. And Leah said, A troop cometh, and she called his name Gad. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, Happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher. And Reuben went in the days of the wheat harvest, and found mandrakes in the field, and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, Give me, I pray thee, my son's mandrakes. And she said unto her, It is a small matter that thou hast taken my husband, and wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also? And Rachel said, Therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrakes. And Jacob came out in the field of the evening, and Leah went out unto to meet him, and said, Thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son's mandrakes. And he lay with her that night. And God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived, and bare Jacob a fifth son. And Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my handmaid to my husband. And she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again, and bare Jacob the sixth son. And Leah said, God hath endued me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I bore him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun. And afterward she bare a daughter, and called her Dinah. And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened unto her, and opened her womb, and she conceived and bare a son. And she said, God hath taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, The Lord shall add to me another son. And it came to pass that when Rachel bore Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, Send me away, that I may go to my own place, to my own country. Give me my wives, my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go. For thou knowest my service, which I have done thee. And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if thou have found favor in thine eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord hath blessed me for thy sake. And he said, Appoint me thy wages, and I will give it. And he said unto him, Thou knowest that I have served thee, and the cattle was with me. For it was little which thou hadst became before I came, and it is now increased into a multitude. And the Lord has blessed me since my coming. And now, when shall I provide for mine own house also? And he said, What shall I give thee? And Jacob said, Thou shalt not give me anything. If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. And it passed through all the flock to the day, removing them thence, speckled and the spotted cattle, and the brown cattle among the sheep, and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and such shall be my hire. So shall my righteous answer for me in time to come, when it shall come for my hire before thy face. Every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and the brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me. And Laban said, Behold, I would it might be according to thy word. He removed that day the goats that were ring-straked and spotted, and all the she-goats that were speckled and spotted, and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown among the sheep, and gave them to the hand of his sons. And he set 3 days a journey betwixt himself and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. And Jacob took him rods of green poplar, and the hazel of the chestnut tree, and pilled it with strakes in them, and made the white appear which was in the rods. And he set the rods which he had pilled before the flocks, and in the gutters of the watering troughs, when the flocks came to drink, that they should conceive when they came to drink. And the flocks conceived before the rods, and brought forth cattle, ring-straked, speckled, and spotted. And Jacob did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks toward the ring-straked, and all the brown of the flocks of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them unto Laban's cattle. And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rods before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they may conceive among the rods. When the cattle were feeble, he put them not in, so the feeblers were Laban's, and the strongers were Jacob's. And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and maidservants, and manservants, and camels, and donkeys. And that's chapter 30. What a tale. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Peace.